All right, we are back with two of the most badass motherfuckers I know. We've got Clint Russell. We've got Joshua Smith, the vice chair of the LNC. How you guys doing?
Living my best life, dude. Yeah. Fucking just loving shit. My Padres just got knocked out of the fucking NLCS, and oof, I feel like my dick has crawled inside my body and it may never return.
See, I don't have to worry about that because I'm an A's fan. You know what I mean? It just never happens.
See, I don't have to worry about either one of those situations because I don't know shit about sports.
I mean, if Clint's already worked out, this is going to be quite the podcast.
Hell yeah.
I'm a sports ball guy, but I basically every single team that I follow hasn't won shit since like the 90s, except for the Golden State Warriors. That's it. So,
if it makes you feel any better, San Diego has never won a championship, ever in any sport, ever.
Oh, that's true. Is that true? The Chargers too,
dude.
Huh? Fuck,
yeah,
dude.
We've been to the Super Bowl. We've been to the World Series. I was at the World Series in 1998 when the fucking Padres got swept by the Yankees. And we had a real shot this season, and all it probably required was for Fernando Tatis not to fucking put PEDs in his 24-year-old perfect body. That fucking idiot.
Someone just bought I had like a special Tatis like Topps medallion card, and someone just bought it from me on eBay. I was like, nice. I never thought I was going to sell that thing ever.
Well, welcome back to Wheel of
the Hall of Fame. I promise.
Welcome back to Wheel of the State Sports Talk Edition. I didn't understand anything that was said in the last 3 minutes.
We talk sports on my show all the fucking time, dude. I can't help it.
It's all good. All right, so a real quick introduction. Clint, we've met you before, but for any of the new listeners, what do you do? Why should people know who you are?
I mean, what do? I scream into a microphone. What did I used to do was entrepreneur, mortgage broker. So I have a good understanding of economics, and I'm a second-gen libertarian, so that would be why I understand libertarianism. And then I've just, for the past 2 years, I've kind of made my career path to be a political commentator. So if you recognize me, that's how you know me.
Hell yeah. All right, Josh, how do people know you? What do you do?
I'm a pissed off white dude on Twitter.
Hell yeah. Those are the best kinds.
Well, I'm the vice chair of the Libertarian National Committee. I've been involved in political activism since about 2007, all over the country. I've been to like 48 states. And of course, I'm the host of Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith, in which we just did like a full new studio setup. So we have this beautiful studio now doing live shows and stuff like that. It
looks great, dude.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. It's you know, I built the studio in the old house, and then when we moved in the new house, there's a lot more room, and I was like, it'd be fucking stupid not to use the room. You know what I mean? And so now we're set up. We can have in-person guests. We got 3 camera angles and mics and all that shit. So good show. But yeah, man, I mean, for the most part, I'm just a pissed off white dude on Twitter.
You garner some of the most like vitriolic hatred I've ever seen from people. Just simply by existing on Twitter. It's my favorite thing to watch and witness.
They fucking hate me, dude.
They really do.
The other day was like, well, there's Trump derangement syndrome, and they started naming off all these people, and they're like, is there anybody I'm missing? And I just popped on. I was like, what's up, bro? Don't forget me. There's people out there that fucking wish me dead when I got my motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
There's people that have legitimately called my jobs, legitimately called CPS to try and get my kids taken away. Like, it's fucked up, bro. These people are not good people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, so you could say that a lot of the hate that you get on Twitter is due to your speech, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I say unpopular things. I don't necessarily think they're unpopular. They just happen to be unpopular with leftists. And there's a lot of people out there that want to make a name for themselves too. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Is they're like, oh well, this guy's already kind of got a platform, and if I can attach myself to attacking him, maybe I can build a platform. I think a lot of it's jealousy, but yeah, you could say it's my speech, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to sort of the issue at hand with Alex Jones being fined a gazillion dollars.
You almost need to go Dr. Evil with that. $1 billion.
Which is the craziest fucking number I've ever heard. For a lawsuit against one dude.
Yeah,
and Clint, I think you covered this really well from kind of top to bottom on your podcast, as far as like, how did we get here, and potentially like what does this mean for speech? And what we wanted to do today is just kind of continue that discussion of like, I mean, if this is the new precedent, if they can silence somebody, not necessarily like take down free speech, but make it so dangerous to speak that people will, self-silence. Like, what happens next?
I mean, I think the perfect metaphor is, I'm not a gun nut, so I can't speak to the language exactly, but I know that you can still get like fully automatic weapons if you're willing to pay, what's a stamp tax or some shit like that?
It depends on the state. Some states don't allow that, but there's a federal stamp that you can get and get fully automatic, and it does cost a shit ton of money. And then of course you're on every government watch list after that. So I think that's a fairly good comparison to kind of give an idea why this disturbs me so much. Like, they have already found a way to basically make the highest power gun ownership illegal for all but the most wealthy people, and I feel like that's kind of where we're headed with political commentary and internet speech more broadly. What specifically concerns me about this story is I am a self-interested Ayn Randian libertarian, and I'm like, if you guys are able to get $1 billion judgment against this guy and then push for it to be 2.75 trillion, I have certainly said things on my show that have been wrong, and ultimately could Larry. Don't do that, Clint. Don't capitulate. You've never been wrong. Fuck these people.
No. I'm sure some of it's been wrong, but yeah. Anyways, but like Larry Fink, right? He's a private citizen, so he's not a politician. Which you kind of it's very difficult to get a judgment if you criticize a politician. But could someone like Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the richest man on earth, hire some big dick swinging attorneys to come after podcasters that are besmirching his good name? Shit like that. And I really think that this is kind of the future that we're looking at, assuming either Alex Jones doesn't win on appeal, or it doesn't get appealed all the way up to the Supreme Court, and then ultimately they get a ruling as to whether or not this is constituted as free speech.
It's gotta go to the Supreme Court, dude. It absolutely has to.
I would sure hope, Josh. I would sure hope. But until it does, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, well, and I think for me, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like the Ross Ulbricht situation all over again, but just a different platform, right?
Well, the Ross Ulbricht situation didn't turn out very good for Ross.
Yeah, I'm fully aware, and that's he was the first one to decentralize the internet, right? He was the first one to make it anonymous transactions, and the government didn't like that very much, and so they're gonna make an example of that person, and they're gonna set a precedent that, hey, if you ever fucking cross us like this without our permission, we're gonna put you into life prison sentences. I mean, this is what the justice system has become this day and age. And of course, this was a much smaller level. It wasn't the federal level. And then to see $1 billion attached to that on a state court level, I mean, that's fucking insane. But that's what they're trying to do. They if you watch I didn't watch every single second of the Alex Jones trial. I did watch a lot of it. It was clear that the prosecutor, the judge, probably many on the jury, were highly politicized about this. I mean, they were coming at it from an angle of, hey, this is a right-wing conspiracy theorist nut, and we need to fucking stick it to him. It wasn't about like it was never about like whose reputation did he hurt. Right?
It wasn't about justice.
Right. It wasn't about justice. It wasn't about whose reputation did Alex Jones hurt, right? Because whose reputation did he hurt? He didn't hurt anybody's fucking reputation. Everybody knows Alex Jones says wild, crazy things on his show. Okay. And I don't think he went out of his way to fucking like ruin the reputations of like parents that had lost their kids. I think he was saying what he believed in his heart to be true. And I'm going to tell you, like, I went down the fucking Sandy Hook rabbit hole, dude. Okay. During, like, right after Sandy Hook, I like went down the fucking rabbit hole. I watched hours and hours and hours of footage, and there was a long time where I didn't believe it, bro. You know what I mean? And I still don't believe the official narrative about a lot of it. And so for normal citizens in this country, or even people who have alternative media in this country and are well known, to not be able to speculate at all without having to worry about $1 billion fucking fine, that's crazy. That's a crazy fucking precedent to set. It's a scary precedent. That's some fucking serious, like, Big Brother shit, dude. Like, for us to not be able to have our own independent media and speculate about things, and do our own research, and that's, I mean, that's where we're headed. And COVID, I mean, really, COVID drove that home for me. You know what I mean? That was where it was like they were basically telling us, like, don't do your own research, listen to the healthcare professionals, and shut the fuck up. And that was where I was like, I'm never, ever, ever again going to listen to these people. I'm going to speculate. I'm going to research, and I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want. Come after me, dude. I rent. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
just to demonstrate how lacking in justice this was. Imagine if you were really trying to find compensation for these parents that had been wronged, right? You would, at most, find Alex, what, 2x his net worth, 3x, so that he has to pay it for the remainder of his life? No. His net worth, which is somewhere in the arena of 5 to 20 million. Alex says it's 5. There's other people that say he's got upwards of 20 still. You would have, at most, came back with a judgment of $60 million. At most, came back with $1 billion. It is so evident that they are trying to not even go after Alex Jones in particular, but to send a message that if you have the gall to question a narrative, especially when it comes to something as tragic as children losing their lives, and it is tragic, you can't do it. Not allowed. And this is exactly the reason that Alex questions these narratives in the first place, is because anytime something becomes so taboo, for instance, the Ukraine and Russia narrative right now, which you've seen many people be deplatformed for doing that,
or the Jews,
or that on the cusp of World War III, and we're not allowed to question the narrative by which they are motivating us to support it. I mean, very dangerous. At
the risk of being fined $1 billion, I mean, it makes you wonder if the reason that they're going, because I mean, other people have said even more ridiculous shit than Alex Jones did about Sandy Hook. You know,
obviously,
like watch one episode of Ancient Aliens. They say some wild shit on that show, but
as far as I'm concerned, that's all true. But continue.
So it makes you wonder why they're going so hard about Alex Jones on this just one isolated topic. And it makes like where my head goes is like, maybe he was on to something about this, you know, because I mean, the issue that I have with the Sandy Hook official narrative is like, what, like the guy that did this thing, he was like, what, like 80 pounds and a total mental case. And somehow he acquired thousands.
He was very, very good at Dance Dance Revolution, though.
Oh, but like he somehow acquired like multiple thousands of dollars worth of firearms, and his mom's on like state income.
Well, I just think no. That's I think you're thinking of something else, because his mom was like a teacher, and fucking his dad, I think somewhere down the rabbit hole line they figured out that his dad had at one point worked for the CIA or the FBI or some shit, which made it even crazier.
Mm-hmm.
No, but they had they live in Connecticut. There's no poor people in Connecticut, dude.
Oh, okay.
And so
well, that's where I'm moving.
There's no poor people in Connecticut. It's one of the hardest states for poor people living. But no, I think that the craziest narrative of all that was that this little tiny kid carried. Are you guys losing me?
No, I can see.
Okay. It was like I said, it was reconnecting. I think that this little 130 pound kid carried all of these rounds into school and shot them off all by himself in the amount of time that he did. I think that was always crazy. It always sounded crazy to me. And so, you know, I've never officially believed it. And I think that a lot of the parents that came out in the media, their actions were very weird to me. So the whole thing always just felt really off to me. Now I everything that I say about it has always been speculation, and all the stuff that I've read about it, while there are facts based around the stuff that that it has been presented to me, it's still like the the outcome and the reasoning and all this shit is still all speculation, and we'll never know. I mean, they bulldozed the fucking school, dude. Okay.
Do you think part of it is the fact that Alex usually portrays everything he's saying as fact? He's like, I have the documents, it's not, he doesn't approach anything as it's my opinion, or this is what I think, or like having that little like caveat or that get out of jail free card statement to say this is, from my understanding. Do you think that plays into it? Is he so forceful?
Dude, I got a stepbrother who's full blown fucking schizophrenic. Okay. I mean, fucking hardcore delusional schizophrenic. And he told me facts that he wrote the follow up to the Bible. It's called the Book of the Sun. The CIA's after him to get it. He told me through facts about how they shrink people down and put them in the TV. I mean, are we going to go after every single person that says they know something as a fact that's not a fact? I think it's bullshit. I think it's 100% like we're going to stick it to these right wing extremists, even if the narrative, revolving around Sandy Hook is true. Everything they said is true. It all happened. This is not about justice. You know what I mean? It's never been about justice. It's about a high profile figure getting the knife in the heart in front of all of his followers and fans, so that can all see that this is what happens to you if you fucking speak up, dude.
Or question the narrative. I think that's definitely what was on trial.
And also Alex was he was at January 6th. I think that ties into all this.
Of course.
The fact that his people were following him by the thousands to the Capitol on that day, even though Alex ultimately told them to go home and to not go into the Capitol, and he did everything in his power to prevent what happened that day. I think that plays a big portion of this, but also just to demonstrate definitively that this is a fucking political witch hunt. Consider for a second, like Rachel Maddow or Dr. Leanna Wen or Dr. Anthony Fauci, or the list goes on and on of people that actually lied and caused direct harm. I mean, perhaps life-ending harm.
Millions.
Alex, by no stretch of the imagination, killed those kids. Yeah. And he certainly didn't kill any of the parents. In fact, the only argument they could have is that perhaps they made their lives harder. They made them have to move. Sure, there could be some sort of financial hardship there, but you have to be able to quantify that hardship and then cap the fucking judgment at that level. There's no way in hell that the actual damages to these people was $1 billion. So it's just so obviously political, and I can't even believe that there are a handful of libertarians, just like even one, that is coming out in favor of this because they're so upset that Alex would question this narrative and get it wrong from their vantage point. Look, if he got it wrong and he accused those parents of something that they had nothing to do with and that their kids were actually murdered in that school, which I tend to believe that's what happened. That's my personal opinion after researching a lot too. I believe that you are allowed to get on TV, national TV, and lie to the American public every day. And NBC and CBS and ABC and Fox News and MSNBC, they all fucking do it. So I don't give a shit. I don't think that you should have judgments against people for telling either accidental lies, which is what I believe Alex was doing, or intentional lies. We have free speech or we don't. We're allowed to speculate or we aren't.
There's no fucking middle ground. Freedom. There's no fucking middle ground.
Well, where do you see this kind of playing out? Because now they're coming after Kanye West.
Just say Yeezy, dog.
That spicy rapper Kanye West.
He even shortened it for you.
It's just Ye or Yee.
Kanye did something even worse than Al.
Well, he went after the Jews.
He said something about the Jews, and you don't say anything about the Jews unless you want to be canceled.
Not just Jews, but also Black Jesus, George Floyd.
Right. So. Right. The Jews are there. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Like I criticize the fuck out of Israel, right? Like all the time. And my dad's side of the family's from Israel. I'm Israeli. Okay. And so people call me an anti-Semite and say that I'm anti-Jewish and this shit all the time. And I laugh it off because I'm like, you fucking idiots. Like I'm literally like my bloodline is all from Israel on my dad's side. Right. Of course they're all anti-Zionist Israeli Jews too. My dad's side of the family. So they're like, they hate the state of Israel. They think it's bullshit. They think it's an apartheid state like I do. And a lot of people that live in Israel agree with that. Okay. And I made a post today on Twitter. You know, I said, you know, the same people that call you an anti-Semite for criticizing, you know, Israel or the preferred religion involved in Israel, are the same ones that will tell you that Christians had a mass conspiracy to kill and enslave the entire world in the name of their God. So it's like it's such a double. What do they call that? What the fuck is the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyways,
It's double standard.
It's nah, fuck it. I don't know. I can't. My brain doesn't work today. Okay, it's Sunday.
It's all right.
I'm supposed to be resting today.
You did fuck your brain in a motorcycle accident. You
I
have an
did, dude. It's
excuse.
still fucked. My head still hurts on the right side. My shoulder's all fucked up, and my knee, and my. But anyways, it's kind of like, you know, you're not allowed to talk about those people. And Kanye did the unthinkable. He said, "I'm going DEFCON 4 on the Jews." But what he meant to say,
only 3. Come on,
was it 3? But here's what he meant to say. Okay, we all know that Yeezus is not very good at wording things in the media or through text messaging or anything like that. He takes a long time to write his raps. We know that. But here's what he meant. And this is true. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Okay. In the hip hop industry, in the late 70s and early 80s, in the entertainment industry in general, especially in LA and New York, those places, those spaces were all owned by Jewish promoters, Jewish owned record labels. And so when the hip hop community started its thing, like, you know, and you could see this with NWA and some other hip hop groups that, you know, Run DMC and these groups that started from the street, they had no fucking idea what the music industry was about whatsoever. Okay. And there is a long history in that community of Jewish agents taking advantage of black hip hop artists. Okay. And so to Yeezus, who's been in the hip hop industry for fucking 2 decades, right? That's what he's calling out in his own head, right? It's like, okay, these agents and these record executives and all these people, like, to him, they're all Jewish people, but I'm sure he doesn't mean all Jewish people. You know what I mean? But he did the unthinkable, and he criticized a religion, because that's what it is. It's not an ethnicity, it's a religion, and he criticized it. And now he's, you know, you see what's happening. He's been removed from Chase, which is fucking insane to think about. I mean, he's definitely got probably at least $1 billion invested with them. I mean, he's got one of the biggest, next to Jay-Z, he's probably the biggest empire from hip hop in existence today. Maybe Dr. Dre.
No, he's the biggest because of his clothing line.
Bigger than Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a billionaire, like big time billionaire.
No. According to Kanye, he's worth over $10 billion.
Okay, well, according to Kanye, who knows what that means? But I don't doubt it. Okay, so we're talking removing a massive fucking empire from a bank, telling him you can no longer bank with us because he said something that they didn't like. Now, do those banks work with the government at all? Of course they fucking do. Of course they do. And libertarians will applaud this and be like, oh yeah, you know, it's all about, they get to choose who they want to do business with and shit. Like, nah, dog. Somebody from the Fed said, hey, Kanye, got to go. And so Kanye's got to go, right? Because of course Chase, like as a corporation, is like, yeah, we want to keep all this fucking money in. Are you kidding me? You know how much fucking interest and money we're making off that money being with our bank? But it's you know, it's this more of the same. It's are we allowed to say things that offend people, or are we not? And if we're not allowed to say things that offend people, whether it be about, you know, the Jewish religion or the state of Israel or mass shootings or any of this shit, if we're not allowed to say those things without being entirely fucking canceled through institutions that do work with the government and take tax dollars, then we don't have free speech. Okay, now if it's a mom and pop's shop down the street, right, like Hertz Donuts or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't want that Joshua guy to come in and buy fucking donuts from us anymore. Fuck that guy. He said something really bad on his show one night. Okay. You know what I mean? Like that's still me having my free speech. But when it's these big multi-conglomerate fucking corporations that work with the government, takes tax subsidies and all this shit, like that's a whole different story, dude. And that's why I talk about this with social media all the time. I mean, these people have gone in front of Congress and testified and worked with Congress on how to moderate their fucking platforms, dude.
Yep. Well, and JP Morgan's responsible for, you know, sitting in during the 08-09 collapse
Right.
I mean, Jamie Dimon basically was like one of the top 3 or 4 people that got to dictate how TARP was drafted and where all of those assets went for. And if you think that a lot of that didn't go to Chase for them to fucking deal with everything, I think they, in fact, I think they may have absorbed Washington Mutual during that period with a government guaranteed contract. Oh, and also JB Morgan Chase has access to the Fed window where they get to borrow free fucking money, which is just entered into a computer and then put into their balance sheets. Yeah, I think that at some point the Libertarian Party and the libertarians more broadly can acknowledge the fact that these aren't fucking private businesses and they no longer have the right to shun individuals because they're basically a fucking public utility at this point. I don't want it to be that way. I want the Federal Reserve to be ended so that we can go back to having some private businesses to actually allow people to make these types of decisions, but we're not there. We're not there, and it's fucking naive, and it makes us sound like children to pretend otherwise. So I'm done doing it, and I'm glad that Josh is. I'm glad Dave announced it on his show just this morning. He did an episode on this. It's fucking great. Like, this is what I've been preaching for a year now. We are not dealing with private businesses, and you sound fucking insane when you talk about it like that. So I'm so glad that people are finally on board with this shit.
Well, and Clint, you know what's funny, buddy, right? Is like the left entirely railed against corporate fascism.
Exactly.
For decades.
Yep.
And then as soon as that corporate fascism started attacking right-wing people, they all fell in line.
Yep.
They all fell in line immediately.
Well, not even just that, but they're cheering.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Clint, you just talked about ESG, and that's something I was thinking about after Josh talked about all the money that Kanye West has in Chase, and they drop him, you know, which has to be a huge loss for them. But it makes it that makes me wonder, like, okay, so Kanye West is a detriment to their ESG scores. So are they is the World Economic Forum making up for that loss in billions? You know,
it's not the World Economic Forum in this case. It would be the Federal Reserve. I mean, their relationship with the Federal Reserve is more important than every individual client you could possibly imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one.
Close.
It's not even fucking close. I mean, you could probably put together half of their entire client base, and they would still side with the Federal Reserve. The power to have free money that you can borrow basically limitlessly. Come on. There's nothing more important than that. They don't make money off of the fucking savings that they hold from us. That's not how they make money anymore. The way they make money, they basically borrow free money and they lend it out. They catch that spread. They catch the points on the origination. And then they also essentially act as a hedge fund, and they fucking buy and sell stocks too. So this is all bullshit, man. It's like, it's so far away from what people's conception is of banking that they can't even wrap their heads around it. It's like they're dealing with the 1950s version of what they believe capitalism is and what they believe banking is. It's not the reality.
Don't you think some of this is the fact that this is a black man that's saying it? Because I think there's also that fear of, you know, what is this going to do to the African American vote? You know, I think that's what gets people, probably the establishment, more afraid than necessarily what he said. It's more about the following he may garnish.
Oh, no, nothing pisses the progressives off more than a black person who won't fall in line. Yep. Nothing pisses them off more.
Oh, yeah. You leave the plantation and you might as well, you better strap up.
I mean, you want to talk about the most hated black woman in America, it's fucking Candace Owens.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think from the people's level, it's probably Kamala Harris, but from the elite level, yes, it's Candace Owens.
Yeah.
There's nothing a progressive hates more than a black person who won't fall in line. That's the truth. Like, listen, nothing brings out the Ku Klux Klan hoods as quick as a black person that won't fall in line with progressive ideals, and that's the truth. They were listen. You know, there's some speculation on whether this is all true or not, but you know, at some point the Dixie Democrats decided, hey, I know a way to get all these black people to fall in line.
Yes.
We're gonna stop saying the loud, the quiet part out loud. Okay, and we're gonna give them all. We're gonna work to put cracks in their neighborhood. We're gonna, you know, make guns illegal for them. We're gonna I mean, they literally went out of their fucking way to criminalize the entire black community in this country and still somehow get them to vote for them through welfareism and stuff like that. I mean, it's been fucking insane.
I believe it was LBJ that said
that's what they say.
that they passed after they passed the Civil Rights Act, that it was like, we're gonna have these N-words voting for us for the next 100 years. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
There's that speculation that he said that, but there
Yeah.
are like, you know, direct witnesses that say it was him who said it, but he also had a lot of other really bad quotes that were proven true. But yeah, I mean, that's what it was. It was like the Dixiecrats were there was this strong sense of American right nationalism in the country at the time. People wanted, you know, this was some years after World War II, and everything had kind of gone back to normal, and people were, you know, the government had a lot of people in this country that didn't depend on them anymore, and the government doesn't like that. The government wants you to depend on them, and this is around the same time when you know, our own CIA decided they were going to try to do false flags and blame it on Cuba so we could start a war there. And I mean, they were really looking for ways to fucking get the United States population to not just support them, but be also dependent on them. And what a better way than, you know, take fathers out of homes, get people addicted to crack, make guns illegal, and criminalize everybody. And that's what they did. And they did it to the black community, bro. And you want to talk about institutional racism. It's every time the left is like, oh, fucking institutional racism here and there. And what about this? And if we got rid of regulation, then the corporations and the businesses and this shit and that shit. It's like, nah, dude, it's your fucking government, bro.
Yeah.
Like, your government is the institutional racism, and they just don't tell you anymore. They used to be very upfront about their racism.
Well, now with Biden kind of saying the quiet part out loud, saying if you're not black, if you didn't vote for me.
I'm talking about they used to, you know, black people in America used to be 2/3 of a person. I mean, they used to be very upfront and open about the fact that black people were inferior in the United States, and that's just how it was going to be. And at some point they said, hey, the black population's growing really fast, so we're probably not going to be able to win without these guys. So maybe we stop saying that part out loud.
Stronger families than whites too. We had a higher marriage rate, lower divorce rate.
They were like, and they were very conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go into like a nuclear black family's house now, they're still very fucking conservative.
Yeah.
Like more conservative than all my white friends growing up, right?
Yes.
And that's
also
truth.
More racist.
And way more fucking racist.
So they're one of us.
and so, but it's and don't even get me started on my Asian friends, dude. They're most racist. And so you know, it was like they had to do something. So what did they do? Margaret Sanger and the fucking government colluded to set up black genocide centers and black communities all over the country in the name of, hey, you'll have a much better life if you just kill off your baby, right? And then you know, introduce crack, start putting crack into these neighborhoods. We know that the government was dealing in crack. We know that the government
Iran-Contra, dude. It's fucking it's like
right there.
These are facts. It's not even conspiracy theory shit.
Nobody has more institutional racism tied into them than the federal government. And somehow they're able to pull the shade over many communities' eyes and say, you'll still vote for us.
I mean,
because, hey,
particularly the Democratic Party. I mean, you know, not trying to sound like pro GOP or anything, but I mean, the worst offenders of this have been the Democratic Party over the last fucking century.
Don't forget that the Republicans are the ones that ended slavery in the United States.
Well, you know what I mean? Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay. So yes, they ended slavery, but they also had the Lily White movement where they kicked out all the black Republicans.
I'll go to town on Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War. Don't fuck. Hey, bro, I'm not canceled yet, but I'll get there. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing I was going to bring up, have you guys watched the documentary Uncle Tom by Larry Elder?
I have not, but I do know Larry Elder from California. So
well, give me his number. No, but his documentary Uncle Tom is fascinating, and it all has to do the Democrats started pushing really hard about black unemployment, like, oh, black unemployment is so bad and blah 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 blah. And so that's when you start seeing all these black families sign up for welfare, you know. And there were even video clips in this documentary where they're talking to people who are in line at an unemployment office to get their unemployment checks, and one dude was like, and he's a black dude, and he's like, this all just seems really wrong, you know, I need to work for my money, like I don't want a government handout or anything like that, which is totally absolutely not the typical black opinion now. That sounded really insensitive, but whatever. Fuck it, I don't care.
Racist, dude. That's
Yeah,
fucked up, bro.
sorry, dude. It's just not enough melanin in my skin.
It's not the regular American opinion now. The vast majority of people in this country now believe that a handout is more than acceptable to take, and so it's the cultural degradation is far beyond the black community. It's all of us at this point. And
it's a sick culture.
That's why we're fighting back against it. I wanted to also mention, as you were talking about the unemployment rate in the black community, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but earlier this year, the Federal Reserve tried to, I don't know if it actually passed, but they wrote a like addendum to their charter where they were going to make it so that black unemployment rate. So you know how the old charter was basically controlling inflation and unemployment? It was supposed to have nothing to do with the stock market, nothing to do with anything other than those two things. Well, we all know it doesn't. But they proposed to try and make racial equity in the unemployment figures also part of their criteria by which they could set the amount of money that's in the system and the interest rates. So they are trying to once again institutionalize and use the black people's plight as a pawn. So like if the unemployment rate's 4%, but the black unemployment rate is 7%, well, then they can now justify keeping interest rates extra low for an extended period of time because they have to work on getting that black unemployment rate on par with the white unemployment rate.
Is this like a despite being 13%, 7% argument? Is that what's going on? Hey, no, it's yeah, this shit's crazy, dude. This is what they've done to, and the fact that they've got so many people blind to it, man, just fucking blows my mind. And it's like people are so big on like the history, the roots, the history. It's like, oh well, I'm not, I wasn't a slave and you weren't a slave owner, but my family were slaves and your family were slave owners, so you owe me. It's like, nah, motherfucker, the government owes you, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the government owes you. The government is the one that caused all of this. They're the ones. If you do a cursory dive into Google of the crack epidemic or welfarism or ghettos or fucking gun legislation.
Yeah. All the gun laws going back to the 1800s. Like they've all been intertwined with blacks' rights to own guns. They've all been connected to black issues in America.
So there is nothing that the progressive hate more than a black person who steps out of line.
Yep. Hell yeah.
But this is why I love Kanye.
That's got to be the title of the episode, Ben.
When a black man steps out line.
Yeah.
This is why I love Kanye West, because even though he says shit in a crass fashion, and I actually watched his entire interview with Piers Morgan. It was 2 hours. I watched it last night. It's incredible. The guy is fucking brilliant. I'm not even exaggerating. He might be one of the smartest people to ever fucking walk the face of the earth. But it, like as Josh was saying, it takes him a while to process and get his messaging right. But the way he's thinking is absolutely incredible, and he is a huge threat to the establishment because he is the most influential black person maybe in history. Maybe. Like, no bullshit. He might be. Like, he's up there with fucking Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan and Martin Luther King Jr. Like, he is astronomical because they didn't even have social media back then. So this dude is like big everywhere. 7 billion people on earth, probably half of them know Kanye and could quote one of his songs. So
probably more than half. I mean, honestly, probably more than half.
So he is a huge threat. If he starts talking about the Democrats being a plantation, that is a problem for them, and they are going to do everything in their power to fucking Alex Jones's ass. And this is why I'm so concerned.
So what happens next for Kanye? I mean, there's talk about him buying Parler, and that I can only imagine. God forbid
he fucking sucks, dude.
Well, I mean, but
that's definitely no truth social.
That could be quite the mouthpiece, And do you really want, the African Americans flooding to Parler and having, that be a giant message board basically for Kanye West's ideas? Like, how are they going to shut him up?
Well, and that's the thing. Parler's already been pulled offline.
Yeah, that's Amazon Web Services already crashed their servers.
That's the other thing people don't get. It's like, even if you buy a fucking platform, like Amazon can still pull you because you're using their web services. Stop using their fucking web services, first of all, dude. If you're going to set up a new platform, build your own fucking server and start it small, dude. You know what I mean?
But that's the problem with social media. You can't start it small. You have to go big, because otherwise you don't get enough traction and you start to lose people. So like this is why they caught like Truth and these other startups lying about their subscriber numbers, because everyone wants to be where everyone is. That's the whole game in social media. That's the whole reason that we can't fucking break away from Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, because everyone wants to be where everyone already is. And I think that's going to be a huge problem. But you're right. I mean, obviously you're right. You can't use Amazon. They will fucking crush you if the government tells them to.
Yeah, they'll do whatever the government tells them to, because that's how they fucking made their come ups, bro. Like Jeff Bezos fucking dude, listen, if you think Amazon is a fucking private company, bro, I got some fucking news for you, dog.
Yeah. What about Google? I mean, come on.
It's just insane to me that people think these are private institutions, man. I mean, fucking
or
Amazon,
Facebook, Amazon, which began the day after the fucking what was it, the DARPA project ended.
Yeah, dude. Well, and here's the thing. Look, Amazon, Jeff, they were smart for what they did. They used the government. Yeah. They used the government to crush their competition, dude. I mean, legitimately used the government to crush their competition until they were the
same thing Bill Gates did with Microsoft, brother.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
It's the stories all the time. All the tech oligarchs are fucking crony, oligarchical pieces of shit.
Fascists.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Fuck Bill Gates. Anyways, what were we gonna say?
I'd never fuck Bill Gates. Get the sentiment.
To each his own. So, going back to
the story.
You're right. Yeah, I'd tell my grandkids about that.
So going back. So let's say this goes all the way to the Supreme Court. And do you think? I mean, granted, with the Supreme Court the way it's situated right now, there's probably a really good chance that it would get reversed. But there's always that threat of packing the court. Would this kind of be that tip of the, to knock things over? Because I know, Biden administration is rumored to have been saying that for a while now, but would this be the kind of the straw that breaks the camel back?
Has there ever been a civil judgment that has been taken to the Supreme Court? Because all I know of is like criminal cases. Do you guys know of any civil judgments that get taken all the way to that level?
No, I don't. I don't know what you're asking me for.
No, because I don't know the answer. When I have Judge Knapp on this week, I guess I'll ask him that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can actually appeal a civil judgment to the Supreme Court. Like, will they take that case? That's a good question. I don't know.
I think they will. I think if it's a free speech precedent, they will, and they have to. I think
they ought to. They ought to. I grant you that. I'm curious to find out if they will.
I think if it's appealed there, I think it's going to go to the higher circuit court first, and then it's going to go, and then it will go to the. I think it has to, and I think Alex Jones has to fucking take it there, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
dude. If he doesn't, I will be so furious.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to hear what Judge Knapp talks about, because Robert Barnes, who's a lawyer, was on Tom Woods not that long ago, and he kind of and I don't remember exactly, because I think they touched on like what are the recourses that Alex Jones has, and I think it's pretty limited. I mean, it sounds like his hands and feet were tied, and he was bound and gagged. I mean, they were very like, you have to answer questions. I mean, you can't defend yourself. I mean, it was a show trial beyond. I mean, the Soviet Union would have been like shocked to be able to what they pulled off. It's the same thing
they did to Ross Ulbricht. They basically kneecapped his entire defense, paraded him around in public as a murder for hire payer, and then fucking didn't even charge him with those charges.
And what's the similarity there, though, Josh? The similarity there is that it was a precedent-setting case that they wanted in their fucking tool belt.
Yep.
Because they wanted to be able to go after people that did any sort of shit on the internet that was like really outside of their purview, and Ross was doing that. And I feel like that's very similar to what Alex was doing.
The best thing about the Ross case, though, like the only silver lining, is that as soon as that case ended, like the internet just completely decentralized. There's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of servers now running fucking anonymity and you know what I mean? Like it fucking just really like for every one person they crack down on, 100 more pop up. So, thank Ross for that, but we still got to free Ross, man, for sure.
For sure.
Do you think we had talked about this a little bit before on like for insurance purposes? I mean, I think there's some fear now that, how do you insure against being taken to court for speech? granted, I mean, we're still very early in the game, but if, this sets the precedence, and let's say they take down Joe Rogan, or they take down Kanye West, or whomever else, but like, what happens to, I mean, that's eventually would trickle down, but what recourse would we have as podcasters and, people that kind of speak for a living? Like, do you think, like, is there going to be insurance riders that you can purchase to try to protect yourself? Or
I'm not willing to even go there. Like, I will fight this to the Supreme Court. I will not be getting insurance to protect my speech. Like, I believe that this is more important than my financial well-being.
In the words of the late great Andrew Breitbart, war.
It's just, I think for me, the scary thing is that censorship piece, because if people are that afraid, and I think that's the purpose of making this settlement be so astronomically ridiculous, is that it's like, it's to try to get people afraid. So like, again, how do you curb that, or how do you fight against it?
And also keep in mind too, the reason that Alex was such a perfect mark is because he had already been deplatformed, and they couldn't kill him with that. And they wanted to prove that they have a mechanism to get you wherever you are. If you're not on fucking Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify, Alex is fucking gone from everywhere, and he was still making a living. And they said, no, bitch. No, you don't. That's what it was about.
Yeah, they didn't scare me at all, though, and I'll tell you why. Because if they hit me with $1 billion judgment, it don't fucking matter at all to me. You're never getting none of that back. You know what I mean? So I mean, it don't scare me at all, bro. Like, I hope, I hope they, because I will, dude. I'll be like, I'm like a normal, everyday blue collar guy that you're now coming after for saying things that you don't like. That, we'll take that up as high as it goes, and I'd pay every last penny I had to fight it, bro, just because. We can't let that precedent be set, especially with the normal everyday blue collar people. You know what I mean? That's when I'll really get worried. So,
well, in some kind of morbid way, like maybe something like that needs to happen. Like maybe they need to come after like somebody on our level. I'm not gonna even try to pretend that I'm on your guys' level.
It can fucking be Alex. Alex can be the hero of his own journey if he wants to, but he's got to fight this thing. He fucked up. Let me say this real quick. He did fuck up, because I don't know if it was him or if it was his attorneys who fucked up, but the information that he was required to turn over to the court, he turned it over, and the court said that it wasn't adequate. Now, I don't know if that's a fucking hack job or if that was legitimate and his attorneys were withholding information, but either way, it tied his own hands behind his back. So if it was the judge that was doing it because they were a malicious actor, or he got bad representation from his attorneys that gave him bad advice and told him that they had turned in all the information that Alex had provided and he didn't, or if Alex had withheld some of the information that they requested and pretended as if he didn't have it, or if he changed some of it, I don't fucking know, man. But regardless, that's the reason they got the judgment without a jury or without an actual trial. He was already convicted before the fucking jury sat down. That's how it worked out. So, I don't know if it would have played out the same way had we actually had a real trial on this thing, and I really wish we had, because I would have loved to see, how they argued it. Like, I don't even know how they would have argued it. It's just crazy to me.
One other question that I had. So I was kind of shocked when you read that statement or whatever from Jacob Hornberger, because I'm like, I would think from a libertarian,
never meet your heroes, folks.
I would think from a libertarian's perspective, that's an open and shut case. Like, this is a clear attack against free speech, and whether you agree with Alex Jones on all of his rants, shouldn't matter. It's the fact that he's clearly being used as a fear, scare tactics. So, have you guys heard more outside of that statement from Jacob on other takes from libertarians that are saying that he deserves everything he's going to get?
Oh yeah, I've blocked a bunch of people that I used to be mutuals with that came at me sideways about this, saying Alex is a scumbag. He deserves every fucking penny of that. I hope his career is over. I hope he can never fucking feed himself or his family again. Like, vicious, crazy, bloodthirsty shit for words. I responded to, I think his name is Douglas. He's a blue check. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, fuck you, Douglas.
Yeah, but anyways, he and I were mutuals for the longest time, and he comes at me and he's like, this is fully justified in every fucking blah 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 blah. And I just responded to him. I'm like, do you realize that you're wishing the end of someone's life over words? Do you know who else does that in this country? Leftists. Those are the only people that do that. They're the only ones that believe that words are violence.
Yeah.
And it is horrifying to see libertarians now taking that vantage point where, like, I wish it could have been worse. I wish he could have been put in jail. It's like these people want Alex Jones fucking executed for getting a narrative in the following few months after a huge crisis that, by the way, was being used to go after assault rifles in this country. It fucking was. Alex was right about that.
Yep.
He was wrong about the rest, in my opinion, but he was right about the way it was being politicized and being utilized to go after fucking peaceful, gun-owning people in this country. So, do you want to side with the people that believe that words are violence? I'm not going down that path ever.
Fuck that.
Words are not
yeah.
fucking violence. It's insane to fucking believe that. And it's
to
weird.
To even consider that, like, to even dip your toe in that pool is bananas.
Well, of all the things that the Libertarian Party is already struggling with that is divisive and that we don't agree on, like I would have never thought free speech or speech just in general, even wrong speech, would ever be pulled and used as a...
We learned that vaccine mandates were a fucking contentious point amongst libertarians. I mean, who the fuck knew how flawed a huge percentage of the libertarians in our movement were? Crazy people.
Those
as far
people
as
aren't libertarians. Fuck them, dude.
I put up the quotes.
The same people that wished all that on Alex Jones wished me death when I got my motorcycle accident. I mean, fuck them, dude. Pieces of shit. All of them.
Well, my biggest issue is everybody's mad about what Alex Jones said about Sandy Hook, and nobody's focusing on the horrible, horrible things he said about frogs.
He was right about the frogs, by the way.
I think that there's nothing wrong if a frog wants to be gay. So.
I mean,
also Clint's gay, so.
I think that's gonna be stuck to you for a while, unless your sex videotape gets leaked. You might have to do Kanye and leak it on purpose.
I'm not leaking any sex tapes to prove my heterosexuality. I do not care enough.
There's a shitload of frogs in that sex tape.
Jesus. I'm surprised nobody's ever found a sex tape of me before, to be honest with you, dude.
No, I got it. I'm just waiting till the right time.
The
blackmail
shit
you for
it.
it.
Dug up on me, bro. It's just, I mean, they got I've had people get my fucking child support documents and shit like that. I'm like, how'd you even fucking get that, dude? You know what I mean? Like my one child that doesn't live with me that I do pay child support for every month. His mom's the victim of a violent crime, so all the court records are redacted and shit, and somehow these fucking people still got it, dude. It's crazy to think about.
They're really dangerous people, man.
They
They're
fucking
really
hate
dangerous.
they hate me, dude. Fucking hate me.
Yeah, but whether they hate you or not, that is a level of predation.
They're predators, dude.
They're predators for real.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt.
So
no doubt.
So I Ben and I we have sort of a disagreement about Civil War. I'm more on the fence. I'm more on the fence than I used to be.
Yeah, I'm pro Civil War too.
But stuff like this makes me wonder. I mean, especially even the split amongst libertarians about issues like this.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a symptom of a much bigger thing happening in our future. And this kind of makes me think if even libertarians are split on Alex Jones, and I don't know, maybe I'm being over dramatic or something, but I'm this kind of makes me think that eventually all this stuff leads to violent conflict, between Americans.
It certainly can. I mean, this is why myself and so many others are advocating for peaceful secession, because I think we all see the writing on the wall that we don't have any common shared values, on a broad scale anymore. The base fundamental American principles of privacy and the ability to defend yourself and the ability to speak your mind. These are things that were not controversial from my vantage point when I was younger, and now they're very controversial. So I don't want to live with people that don't agree with me on the basic principles of what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
Like that. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have any interest in that. And this is why I tend to align myself with as many libertarians as I do GOPers, because at least these people, even if they're fucking deluded into thinking that they can vote a Republican into fixing this shit, which unfortunately they are that deluded, they still share those values. You know, tactically we have difference of opinion, but they still share like the most important values, the ones that I literally cannot live without.
Yeah.
So I will ally with anybody. And the handful of leftists that are super anti-war and still pro-guns and still pro-free speech, like, I'll ally with you too. I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing this partisan shit. This drives me fucking crazy when I get like pushback from Florida libertarians or any state libertarians that are like, why aren't you fucking bringing on our candidate to talk about da 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 da? And it's like, because they're not fucking good, bro.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
Just being real straight with you. Like, many of these people are not good. I don't want representatives that don't crush. If you're going to run on the LP side, I want you to be great.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me that we can't put together fucking a couple hundred great libertarians to run every year. Like, why? Why is this so challenging? And now I'm learning it's because very few people actually are libertarians. And I know that sucks because
the
we always
hardest
talk
part,
about it. But,
the biggest reason for that is other libertarians, Clint.
Yes, I know, but explain why. Explain a little bit more.
Well, I just dude. You know, I've been in this movement. I left the Republican Party in 2010 after watching how they treated Ron Paul in 08. Maybe it was even 09. I joined the Libertarian Party in 2010. So I'm more over a decade now with the party. And I'm telling you, dude, I'm burnt the fuck out. I'm tired of the party. I'm tired of the fucking constant petty bullshit. I'm tired of the people that think they should be running for very high offices. Like what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like when people announce for Congress or Senate or the presidency or fucking governor, and they don't even have fucking $4 to put to you know what I mean? It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Okay, listen, I don't get into the vote splitting shit, right? Like, you know, I don't play that game. I think that if the Republicans are mad that we're running a libertarian, they should probably run better candidates. Okay.
Yeah. No, for me, it's not about that either, just to be clear.
But like, if you're gonna run for governor of a state, be someone like Shane Hazel, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like be someone like fucking Shane Hazel, dude. Like fucking go out there and just fucking crush your opponents, dude. Make the Republicans and the Democrats look like fucking losers, dude. And that's what he did. That's what we need to be doing at those levels. Okay. If you
that's the whole reason for fucking high level politics, because we're not going to win, so we got to just destroy when we get our chance.
Yeah, and if you're not going to do that, then run for fucking city council or mayor or even state representative, bro. You know what I mean? Like, don't go out there and just be like, oh, well, I got the time, so I'm going to run for governor. Like, dude, that's the executive level of your entire state, dude. Okay? That's the person who signs off on literally every bill that goes through the fucking house it's a state house in the next 2 to 4 years. Don't do that. Don't fuck that up, bro. You know what I mean? Either know that you're somebody that can crush and get money and get people to follow you and fucking support you, or don't run for those positions. And it's just I've gotten to a point with the party where it's like, dude, I'm like embarrassed still, even after the takeover, and like I'm still embarrassed, dude. And I'm burnt out and I'm tired. And I'm fucking, it's just still petty bullshit all the time. And people are wishing death on my family and shit. It's like, fuck you guys, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. It's got to be hard, man.
I don't know.
So I guess the main point of that Libertarian Party, you guys are fake and gay.
Yeah, pretty gay, dude. Stop being so fucking gay.
Stop being so gay.
Seriously.
I just want to say, I still have a lot of hope for the LP and for the Mises Caucus takeover. I am not as jaded as Josh, but I also haven't been as involved nearly as long, so I understand why he's burned out. But I do think it's just quite evident that it was not enough to just take over the party. We have to be a lot better.
Yeah.
And we're not there yet.
And don't police my fucking speech either.
Hell yeah.
That was when I started getting messages about policing my speech after I won, dude. I was like, fuck you, dude. Listen, I had to fight half of my own caucus to win the vice chair race. Okay. The caucus that I helped put on the fucking map that I traveled around the country with a bullseye on my back for fucking 4 years. I had to fight half of them to fucking win my vice chair race. Okay, so don't come at me.
I was there. I was in Reno. I remember
know,
that,
and I appreciate you, dude. But don't come at me trying to police my speech because I don't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean? I don't care.
Well,
if you haven't picked up what Josh is putting down, you can't police his speech.
I will get fucking worse, dude. Okay, trust me.
He'll start with the JQ. And you don't want to know where that goes next.
I seriously, some days I wake up and I'm like, okay, because I get up for work at like 4:30 in the morning. I get to work by 5:30, and I sit down and I don't have anything to do for like an hour. So I like pull out my phone and I'm like, all right, Twitter. Who could we fucking piss off today? You know what I mean? Like, I got time, dude. I got time to make people fucking mad. And my own people shouldn't be like, yo, dude, we're gonna need you to calm down about that shit. No, fuck you, dude. I am the comms director for New Hampshire. Okay, everyone come and eat my ass.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So like with the whole John McCain Happy Holidays tweet from the LPNH,
yes,
like
they didn't go far enough.
No, they didn't. Like, I mean, first of all, I liked the LPNH before then, and I always appreciated them for the John McCain tweet. His brain tumor saved more lives than Anthony Fauci. Loved it. But then the Happy Holidays one, there was something about that tweet. It was just fucking. It was perfect, and I was like, I fucking love this. And I started looking up like houses in New Hampshire. Like I plugged in New Hampshire in my Indeed app, and I was like, I like someday I gotta fucking get there because that shit was awesome.
I want Dave to listen to that soundbite right there, because that is exactly the difference in messaging style between what Dave wants versus what the LPNH wants. And we've already hashed this out on Tower Gang and elsewhere, but that's the truth. LPNH is using their platform to recruit people to move to New Hampshire. That's really what they're about. And it's working. And it's working. Yeah. And the broader party is trying to message on a national level, especially in Dave's, corridor, what he's doing. So
make sure you tell Dave about Wheel of the State.
All right.
So he can hear that.
I don't know a single libertarian that lives north of the Mason-Dixon that doesn't want to move to fucking New Hampshire. Dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like none of the southern libertarians want to move to New Hampshire.
No, if you're already freezing your ass off, why are you not in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Well, we're in Michigan, so we're like, we already have the shitty cold weather,
You guys are way cold. You guys are way colder than New Hampshire, dude. Like way colder.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Fuck out of Michigan, dude.
Oh, yeah. Right. Michigan fucking sucks.
We're colder. We're colder in Iowa than it is in New Hampshire, buddy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude.
You could catch a federal case just being a libertarian in Michigan. Get the fuck out of
there. That's true. I had the dude who
Brandon Cassert.
Did you have him on your show yet?
No, because you had him and Jose had him, and I was like, all right, you guys covered it. But
Brandon Caserta, who was framed for trying to kidnap your governor. I had him on my show recently, and that's a savage thing that he did. And I hope I told him directly, even off air, I said, bro, you got to go fight those fucking people and take everything they have, everything you can get from them. Fight them, dude.
I hope he gets 25 million and disclosures of all of their CIs and everything they did. So criminal.
Yeah, because dude, listen, they're trying to set precedents against us. We need to be setting precedents against them, bro. And that's how we fight. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's the truth. Listen, the government is not some benevolent organization.
Right.
Okay. They are going to get away with every single possible thing they possibly can in the eyes of the public. Okay. And that they do that by show of force. They do it around the world. Their military industrial complex and our foreign policy does that. That's what we do. We're a show of force. We show up and we're like, yeah, hell yeah, we won World War II, dude. We're in fucking America. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we do. And so they do that. They're doing that to citizens now, to private citizens through precedent. We have to put the shoe on the other foot, man. We got to fucking kick back.
Let me give you a soundbite to really cap that off. The FBI is the domestic version of the military-industrial complex. They are the show of force to crush anyone that goes against the neoliberal agenda. That's what the FBI is now.
Yep,
it's the truth.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think they're proving that every day. It seems like it's just one thing after another.
Gay.
They are very gay.
Very gay.
Just
Yeah.
add that to the soundbite.
Like not the cool kind of gay either. They're
not
like
the frog
real
kind.
gay.
Yeah.
Not the frog gay.
Federal
They're like
butt intruders.
yeah, they're like Funko Pop gay. I stole that from one of my favorite.
Shit, dude, I have a huge collection of Funko Pops.
Oh yeah, that's real. You're real gay, dude.
I got a bunch of Harry Potter ones. Like,
They're going to be
that's
valuable one day.
if that's gay, then I'm fucking
For
Liberace,
people who don't-
dude.
For people who don't understand, like when I say they're not the cool gay, that means like I think you're cool if you fuck dudes, like you're cool. But if you like are part of the FBI, you're like not cool gay.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Well, we better.
I'm so old, I didn't even know what Funko Pops were until fucking Jose enlightened me.
Yeah,
Oh,
he loves
shit.
all that shit. So do I. I fucking got comic books everywhere.
All right, good. All right, so you're just as gay as I am.
I got fucking Lobo on my wall right there. It
A fucking Lobo's the shit, dude.
literally says "bite me, fanboy."
All right, well, we better wrap this up. We're going off
Yeah.
the rails. I appreciate so much you guys jumping on here to talk about this stuff with us. I think this was, I mean, as weird and out there as it got, I thought this was a very, very productive conversation. I think it's going to be good for people to listen to. Are there any closing thoughts that you guys have? I'll start with you, Clint.
I mean, as much as the free speech issue is front of mind because of the conversation we just had, I think that by far the most important thing is that we do anything and everything in our power to prevent and stop the funding of this proxy war and to hopefully prevent the 101st Airborne from fucking entering Ukrainian territory to take a head-on combat mission with fucking Russia. Like I think once that domino tips over, it's basically game over. Like I don't see how even if it's a war in a neutral territory, quote unquote, in Ukraine, if you want to pretend it's neutral, whatever. I still don't see how you have direct contact between two nuclear powers and it doesn't escalate into World War. I mean, we did everything in our power to avoid that from happening throughout the Cold War. That's why it was called cold. You can't let it go hot. Okay, folks? And I feel like people are not taking this fucking nearly seriously enough. And it's bizarre to me. It's like, even the libertarians, I still see them fucking arguing about immigration law and Black Lives Matter over the past 48 hours. I'm like, what fucking world are you people living in? So that's my closing thought. Fucking lock in.
Well, not to take that, but I was just browsing through Google News, and there was just a haphazard article about what to do if a nuclear bomb is dropped in your neighborhood, and it was like,
die.
What? Like, this is just like, oh, there's a cat stuck up the tree. Oh, by the way, there might be a nuclear bomb. Like, how is this just normal news and people aren't protesting in the street? So yeah, I hear you 110%.
Dude, there's a level of I don't even know, man. I think maybe it's exhaustion or something that's just like really broad based. But the fact that we couldn't get protests, like serious protests over the lockdowns in this country, fuck, dude, I'm very.
It's disheartening.
The apathy, I think, is the worst.
Yeah, apathy. Yeah,
it's just people just don't care, and whether they're just tuning out because you're right, maybe they're just so tired of the constant conflict that they're just being fed constantly. But some people need to wake up because this is serious. This isn't just about freedom of speech or not to say that that's not valuable, but we are talking nuclear holocaust. That's end of the world.
A lot of people thought I was over the top when it came to lockdowns. Boy, when it comes to World War III, I am fucking way over the top. Like, you cannot have World War III, okay? Do you understand me? It's not an option. The fact that it's being talked about willy-nilly by both sides of the political aisle is fucking lunacy. And there's like no pushback.
Clint,
so
we can't have just a little World War III as a treat, or what?
no,
just a little one.
not until you finish your fucking
This is
dinner.
a treat.
Like,
A little as a treat.
No World War III. Let's do like World War 2.25. Just a tiny little bit.
You're like, no, we can't have any World War III. You got World War III at home, dude. You know what I mean?
You haven't even finished
World
your
War II
Afghanistan.
director's cut. Like,
You haven't even finished your Afghanistan. How can you have World War III? That was good.
oh man.
All right, Joshua, top that on your closing remarks.
Oh, dude, I got this. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Growing up, there was a wise man in my neighborhood, and he imparted some very important knowledge on me. And that knowledge is that no matter what you do in your life, hoes are going to be mad. So fuck bitches and get money, dude. Okay. I grew up in Oakland. I don't know what the fuck you guys expected. Okay? No, it's look, dude. I agree with Clint head on. I think the biggest issue right now is definitely this fucking proxy war. And we're sending billions overseas to fight this thing, and I don't even think it's really happening. I think it's all just a fucking smoke show, to be honest with you. I see green screens and fucking. I mean, it's just like
God.
It would not
feel a lot better.
Yeah, I know, but I just think that there's something more sinister going on than just this fucking this shit, because this whole thing reeks of fucking Gaddafi and Libya to me all over again.
Currency war.
And as somebody, I don't give a shit what people call me. You can call me a Putin fucking puppet or propagandist or whatever, but I actually watched everything that Putin has said over the last, I don't know, 4 months, 3 months. And actually got it translated to me correctly. And everything he's saying is basically, hey, we're not going to cuck to the demands of the West, dude. That's it. Okay. It's not about, he's like, we don't want fucking, trans people going to our fucking elementary schools and teaching kids that they don't have a penis anymore if they don't want to. And it was like all this like Western shit is not going to happen here in Russia. And we're also not going to fucking cuck for the American dollar and all this shit. It's like, dude, this is what happened in Libya, bro. 100% the same thing. Gaddafi was like, we're not fucking going on the petrodollar. We're not doing your bullshit. We're not dealing with this. And then they fucking were like, oh, he's a fucking tyrant and he's killing his own people. We got to kill him. And then they went and killed him and then fucking installed their own democracy. And of course, now they're on the fucking same dollar system as the rest of the world. I think that this is all brought on by a fucking cabal of, WEF junior leaders. And that's what's going on. And I think, it's all a big push. Russia is the biggest landmass country in the entire world. They have more fucking resources than any other country in the entire world. And they will not play ball with the United States of America. That's a no-no. That's a fucking no-no. And I think, am I saying that he's like, Putin's perfect and it's great and everybody's happy? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the fucking West and its alliances hate people who will not fucking play ball with them.
Yeah.
And if you look at history over the last 200 years, okay, places like Iran, where they finally had a democratically elected fucking prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, in the 50s, and then he decided, hey, we're not going to play ball with with Britain and America on these gas prices anymore. You guys are going to have to fucking start paying full price. They said, we're not going to do that. We're going to come in. We're going to start a coup. We're going to overthrow you. We're going to give it back to the fucking Shah, right? That's what we do. And for our own people not to understand that that's exactly what's going on here blows my fucking mind, because you have 100 fucking years of evidence that says this is what the United States foreign policy is all about.
Yeah.
So please don't support the war. I don't give a fuck if you're like, yeah, Ukraine's, go do your thing. Don't cuck to Russia. Cool. But why am I sending my tax money there, dude? Why are we sending our tax money there? Why does this all look fucking staged?
Mm-hmm.
And it's bullshit. So definitely don't support that. I agree with Clint 100%. And his sound clips are a lot better than mine. But just remember, no matter what you do, hoes will be mad. So fuck bitches and get money.
And if anybody listening wants more information on the whole idea about, the currency wars, we did a great video on BRICS versus G7.
Yep.
And that's, fascinating, because I think you're absolutely right. There's the underpinning to so much of conflict is about the U.S. just trying to remain at the world's reserve currency. And because they know if we lose that, we're done for.
Yep.
So, good information.
The empire ends when the dollar ends.
Yep.
That is simple as it gets.
Thank God. Sorry, was I still live when I said that?
Oh shit, a hot mic. All right, guys. to the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching, listening, however the fuck you ingested this podcast. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you, Clint, so much for coming on here. Thank you, Josh. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, go to wheelofthestate.com. You can follow me on TikTok at Andy Coons, Koons. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy_Coons. Yeah.
Hey, wait! Before you sign off,
yeah,
I want to, because I haven't said it on any of my shows or anything.
Oh shit! Yeah, my God.
I am currently working on lyrics to a song that Andy has written for his new album, and so we will have a really cool song together soon, and I'm very excited about that.
Now that's libertarians coming together.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't said it. I haven't talked about it on my show or anything, but I do have everything written. I just have to record it, and it's fucking hard to record right now. So
that's all right.
Well, Josh quoted Too Short just a minute ago, so I'm looking forward to whatever you guys put out.
It's not rap, in case you're wondering.
Okay.
I can rap though, and one of these days you and I are gonna have a rap.
Let's
song
do
together.
it. Let's do
a rap battle.
I can rap. I did grow up in a rap hip hop neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, that song should be done. Hopefully, I should have those things recorded by the end of next week for you, buddy. So.
Hell yeah, dude!
And please check out Break the Cycle and Liberty Lockdown, and we'll make sure to have you guys called out in the show notes for your website.
Thanks, man.
And tomorrow,
Liberty Lockdown's cool, but Break the Cycle's really good.
Obviously, Break the Cycle is better, but I do have Tom Woods on for the first time tomorrow, so everybody check that out.
Fuck
Thank you guys
yeah.
for having me.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You guys really appreciate you.